what's the point of even having that in your life if it's not going to be any of those things?
Well, then let me cut out every woman that I ever met and that I'm ever cool with. Like, that just don't make sense. I don't think that's...
Why? Are you dating right now, though? Are you in a
Yeah.
relationship?
No, not in a relationship.
Okay, well, then that's my point.
Yeah, man, it's a good topic. Always a fun topic to talk about. Cheating in the dating scene, because a lot of people have a bunch of different opinions about what is cheating. Is it just having sex with another person? Is it going on a date with another person? Is it giving them their phone number? What is it? What is cheating?
Right.
Where do you draw the line? Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what a lot of people kind of want to know. Where do you draw the line?
Right. So we've got this, the first 30 minutes of this open to where you guys can hop in. There should be a button down at the bottom right corner that you can request to join with us, or you can click an icon that has a question. We'll make sure to answer your questions throughout the live stream. So make sure if you have any 2 cents to add, feel free to hop on. You don't have to stay on for a long time, and then share your opinion. So we've already got a couple people in the request to join. So first we're gonna let the King Law Firm in, and then we've got another person waiting, and we're gonna go ahead and bring her on.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Right.
We're good. Fine. All right. So did you get the first topic?
Yeah. What's cheating?
Yeah, in a dating relationship.
Exclusively dating, correct?
Right.
All right. Did y'all answer?
No, we're gonna go ahead and
We haven't answered.
the first go.
All right. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What do we consider? What do I consider cheating? To be honest, I think anything that you would not do in front of like the other person, right? So if you wouldn't obviously go on a date, right? I think flirting is a little gray area, right? Because there's certain type of flirting that's like, I mean, literally like completely harmless to a certain extent. But there are certain type of flirting that's like, nah, man, like that's way too much, right? So for example, we in this whole, social media age, right? If you comment a bunch of hard eyes under a woman's picture and you're dating like like that, it's not really cheating. It's just like, bro, like what's up? That just it's just stupid, right?
It's out of bounds.
Right. It's out of pocket. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you like, putting some fire on their pictures, like, man, that's a really dope picture, or like you look fly or something like that. I think that's not really flirting, but it's like it's a good compliment, right? I don't think there's necessarily wrong with that. But I think you gotta have boundaries, right? So like once you jump in the DMs, nah, red flag, right?
Yeah.
Once you like I said, doing anything that you like that you would have a problem with, right? And then two, that you wouldn't want your other partner kind of seeing or being around. Like you wouldn't do it in front of them, right?
Right. Yeah, you definitely, if it's something that you have to hide,
yeah,
you should know you're probably cheating, right? Like you have to hide it.
Okay, so I have a question for you then. Is there a difference when it comes to cheating in a dating relationship versus a married relationship? Or is it exactly the same? Because we talked about, it was last week and then the week before, how there's different roles in dating versus marriage and how they're two completely separate things. Right?
Yeah.
And so is there a difference when it comes to the standard of exclusivity or whatever, however you pronounce it, in dating versus marriage? In your opinion, and in the audience's opinion too.
A little bit. And I only say this because, like, one, us being humans, we're creatures of habit, right? So if you do one thing for long enough, you're going to, create a habit of it. So I think it is important to practice like certain like boundaries in your dating relationship. But I think when you're married, I think it's more important to not even like leave a crack open, right? Like, don't even allow yourself to kind of like let the devil kind of, you know, slither in or anything like that with anything. Not a DM, like nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you gotta, now maybe it's a little extreme, but if you gotta like cut off certain people and be like, nah, bro, like that's my wife, and I don't even want to put my wife in a position to where she feel like she getting played or another woman can like approach her and saying some information that she didn't know. Like, nah, like that's the
Okay.
only woman I ever.
So,
That's
okay, so there's people in the comments saying, so if you cheat on a test in high school and in college, is there a difference?
No.
no, but I don't think that's the right example, right? I would say cheating on like a test in college or something, that's one thing, versus like cheating on the bar exam, right? Cheating on like marriage is more like the bar exam of like, no, like you're a professional now. Like you're doing this now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you wouldn't want a doctor that cheated on his, I forgot what they call that, right? You know what I mean? To become a doctor.
Right.
Because you gonna operate on me with my life. I need you to know what you need to know, right? It's kind of the same thing with marriage. Like it's way more 100 more serious because like
Okay.
it's not the same. Now dating, although obviously like you know creatures of habit, you still need to be practicing those good lifestyle choices, right, and those decisions, right? But I think at the marriage,
But
it's a covenant.
you're right. But the thing is, I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments say things like, well, it's cheating is cheating.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
I agree with that. Cheating is cheating.
It
And
is.
here's why.
I agree.
Because if you're dating, what is something that you can get away with in dating that you couldn't in marriage? That's equals like they're both cheating.
And I think that leads to the next topic. I think there is some things that you could get away with in dating that you couldn't get away with in marriage. So cheating in a dating relationship doesn't make you someone that committed adultery. You're not committing adultery, right?
So
Biblically, since we're coming from a biblical,
Unless you
everyone
have
in here,
sex
we're
with them.
coming from a biblical perspective. We're not coming from like a worldly Dr. Phil perspective, right? So
Right.
I disagree that cheating is cheating. I think that if you're in a dating relationship and you haven't given that covenant to somebody before God, and you know it's not the same. Now, I do
It's
think
dishonorable.
I do think you should treat others the way you want them to treat you, like Jesus said.
Right.
You know, so by doing something like that, you're not treating them the same as someone. So I'm not saying it's okay, but it's not adultery.
Yeah,
So
it's
I think
dishonorable, but it's not. Yeah.
So I think to your position, Zach, the penalty and the judgment for cheating in marriage is more severe, wouldn't you say?
More severe consequences. Yeah.
Right.
You could lose your
Because
wife, your
like you said,
family.
you have that covenant under God, right?
Right.
But I think in the end, it's still cheating is still cheating. Like if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. So what's cheating, C-Love? That's the question.
So yeah,
What's cheating?
What is
Oh, I got a
considered
list.
cheating?
Hey,
and then
He's coming from personal experience, huh?
And then Auburn fan, I see you in the request. We'll bring you on in just a second after he shares his
Jeremy,
thoughts.
I said he's coming from personal experience.
I got personal experience with this. I know a little something. But cheating for me, like you said, anything that you have to hide from me. So if you're texting a guy while we're dating and you don't want me to see it, you got to delete the messages and do all this extra stuff just for me to have to find out, that's cheating.
I agree.
Like, I don't know what you guys might be talking about, but if you have to hide it, that's cheating.
Okay. I was gonna go somewhere, but it's irrelevant. I was gonna find the one scenario where it would be okay.
Go ahead. If you have it, go ahead.
Yeah, she's planning a surprise party for you.
No, that's not.
Okay.
Obviously, that's not cheating.
So
I mean,
we got someone requesting to come on to share their opinion real quick. Oh, it's KC. Give him a second to get on.
What's up?
Yo,
What's going on, man?
What up?
What's up?
What comment, question or anything do you have about the topic?
Wait, before you start, are you in a relationship?
I'm married.
You're married? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like, I mean, it's like kind of like what Chris was saying. I mean, you're gonna develop a bad habit. You know, if you don't practice it while you're dating, I mean, hey man, you gonna crash out. You're gonna burn. I mean, it's always important to to develop those good habits when you're dating somebody, because I mean, you're pretty much preparing for marriage. And so I feel like you can't really control somebody, like, when you're dating somebody, because I mean, you hadn't went before God, you hadn't made that promise. But I feel like out of respect, you probably should, because it can come back to bite you later on. So that's
Right.
pretty much my opinion of it.
And you're right about that, because I've heard from men, who cheat on their girlfriends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that penalty is not the same because they're not married.
Yeah.
They'll do it, and they're like, okay, once I get married, I'll just stop. But we all know that's not how it works, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you created that bad habit, and it's just gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
good point.
I agree.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, man. We're we're only, like I said, we're only staying on for an hour this time.
Okay.
But I mean, if you have even the other topics, if you want to hop back on, anybody feel free to hop in, share your 2 cents, and we're gonna keep talking about it. But thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate that, man.
I see y'all.
See ya. So that's a good point, because you want to build good habits. I agree with that.
All right.
I did see someone in the comments that said something about don't let your current boyfriend or girlfriend keep you from meeting your husband or your wife. So that's a good point. Maybe a topic to bring on for another day. But the other thing that we're going to talk about with this was, what were you about to say?
So I'm gonna say this, and I think men and women, like, you gotta be honest with yourself, right? Let's say you're with your girlfriend, right, or your boyfriend or whatever. If you feel like, if you get to the point where you're constantly thinking about another guy or more women or other women, like consistently when you're with your girlfriend or boyfriend, I think it's time you got to be like, all right, I think it's time to call it, right? Because even mentally, you're starting to entertain the idea of other women, and I'm not saying that's technically cheating, but it's like you're creating like an environment in your head to be like, all right, well, I'm thinking about other women and stuff like that. So I think it's time you kind of break up and go, see what else is out there or whatever, right?
Right.
And you got to really be honest with yourself, right? If you're a dude and you're kind of always thinking about another woman while you have a girlfriend, bro, like, that means she probably ain't the one for you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that.
That makes sense.
I don't agree with that, man. That whole don't let them keep you from. Because if you're in a relationship, if I'm in a relationship with a woman, I am so focused on that woman and being with that woman and making sure it works with that woman, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about other women. Now, if there comes to a point, like you said, Chris, if we're together and I see, okay, she's really not the one for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and break up with her, move on, and find somebody else. There's no point in staying in it like, well, I can't let her keep me from finding my other. No, just break up with that person and go on to the next one.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's what a lot of people were saying in the comments as well.
But I feel like a lot of people treat it like a job, right? Like, I'm not gonna leave this job until I find the next job.
And that's where people get hurt. And that's where
I agree.
This whole toxic circle, just snowball effect happens, right?
So what do you think about friends of the opposite gender?
I'm gonna say this. If you're just in a boyfriend, girlfriend, that's one thing, right? Like, I don't think you have a big right to kind of dictate that to a certain extent, because, I mean, how many relationships you've been in and it doesn't work out, right? So, like, you got to really be careful of that. I think if you're married, us three better be best friends. If we ain't best friends, he ain't a best friend, right? And I'm not saying that, like, oh, like every time we hang out, I got it. But like, I need to like he's got to be a friend to me if he's going to be a friend to you, right?
Okay.
Right.
He
So
like there's no isolated friendships. Like he can't just be a friend to you and us never speak, us never hang out, us never talk. That ain't gonna work,
Right.
right?
okay, so what if it's a friend? So you're talking about a marriage, not dating, right?
Yeah, marriage.
Okay, so you're saying it's different. Okay, people in the comments, what do you think? Do you
I have
think
a
you can be
platonic male
friends?
friend.
I
We're
got
not
some
a
thoughts on this topic too.
Hold on, wait a minute. Before, do you guys think it's okay to have friends of the opposite gender when you're in a relationship, dating? We're not talking about marriage. We're talking about marriage.
You want to alter that question a little bit?
What you got?
Say, is it okay to have opposite friends of the opposite sex when you're married that are attractive? Because I think that changes the game.
Well, I mean,
I think that
even
changes
if
the game.
I don't know.
Because think about it. It changes the game. It really does. Because it's one thing to say, oh, I got a best friend, she a girl, but like she's just not attractive at all. My wife knows she's not attractive. Like it's just completely off, right?
I don't
Not
know.
saying that that's complete, but you know it's different, right?
Mike,
Because if you got a friend that's a girl and she bad, your girl might be like, I don't know.
but why? Why? But the question I have is, why are you friends with a girl in the first place like that? Like what? Like
What do you
why
mean?
do
You don't have a
why do
friends that are.
why do you need a girl that's a friend like that?
I'm not saying you went in with the intention of, oh, like she's an attractive girl, let me be friends with her. No, I'm just saying like, just so happens that oh, she's pretty attractive too,
So
and
what do you
we're
consider?
friends.
What do you consider friend? Are you talking about like on our level? Are you talking about on the level of like an acquaintance?
Higher
What do
than
you
an acquaintance. Higher than acquaintance.
higher than an acquaintance?
Yeah.
So my thing is this. To answer the question, no, I don't want her having male friends. Like that's just
Wait, at all?
for what? Why does she need male friends?
What do you mean? If they grew up together, you gonna like. I
Why,
don't
as
see
a
nothing.
guy, I can't speak from a girl's perspective, but as a guy, why do you have, and this might, I'm not trying to offend the ladies, but why do you have female friends?
Elaborate on that.
Like, what
Why?
is the,
What do you mean?
Elaborate. Don't read the comments. Just elaborate.
No, I'm saying like what's your question? You saying
No,
why do I have?
I'm asking C Love. Go ahead and elaborate on it.
like, I guess, what is like the purpose of being friends with women, like, over men?
I mean, you could say a different perspective. You could say to give you a different type of advice. You could say together, right? Like we've always been good friends. Somebody that can look out for me in terms of the opposite sex. Just a whole bunch of different things. I don't think there's necessarily nothing wrong with that, but I think there has to be definitely boundaries set.
No, it definitely has to be boundaries.
So
But I'm not going to just say, oh,
my
like
standpoint on that is when it comes to a real friendship, first of all, your friends are gonna be into the same types of things you are. Your friends
Right.
are gonna communicate in the same way you communicate, right?
I agree.
So imagine a girl or a lady who you consider a best friend. Now imagine everything about her is still the same. Her personality, the way she sounds, the things she's into, her being into guys, her being into all these other things, and then switch her and make her a man physically, but everything else is still the same. Would you be friends with that man? He's still into makeup, or he's still into this, he's still into that. Would you naturally, you personally, be like best friends with that man? Not saying you can't be friends with someone that's into that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, is that the type of person you are naturally attracted to when you look for a friend? And to that, I would usually say no, just because that's the only reason that you're friends with that person is because of the fact that you guys are into the same things, you think the same way or similar, and you communicate the same, things like that.
Right.
And when you switch it and just make it a woman, she's into different things. It's totally different. And it's just like, that's what I think. What's the point if you're into things that she's into, and I haven't come across it that often. So there's obviously outliers, but I don't see that as, a reason to, be friends with a woman. Usually if you're friends with someone of the opposite sex, there's some sort of attraction there or something like that.
Like there has to be some sort of attraction.
And I'm not talking about just an acquaintance. I'm talking about a friend that you're like, hey, yeah, I'm going to call you. Hey, come over to my house. Let's watch a movie together. Let's do this. Let's do that. That kind of friend.
But I don't hang out with y'all like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna hey, let's go to the movies together. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't think that's necessarily like the friendship I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about a friendship in terms of like somebody that has your best interest at heart, like somebody who wants you to see you succeed, somebody that can give you good sound advice. Not the fact that y'all have to hang out 24/7 or that y'all gotta have sleepovers or anything like that, but the fact that's like, nah, like I know this person like is down for me. I don't think there's nothing wrong with a man and woman kind of having that. Now, I will say this. I think it's important to know what how they live their life, right? The character, the honor, who they answer to. Because if they answer to morals, I don't think that's smart. If they answer to God, I think that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because now I know, even my male friends, bro, if I know you, if you're not answering to God on a lot of things, I'm not necessarily going to trust you around my wife.
Right. Okay.
Right?
So we've got somebody in the
true.
request. We've got someone in the request. They're gonna hop on, share their 2 cents real quick. Let's see what we got here. But I see what you're saying, Chris. I guess we'll talk more about it in a minute.
What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, man? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
What you got? Any questions, comments, or what's your thoughts on the topic?
Actually, on the topic of if women can become friends with men. Actually, this is quite a story here because I just believe like it can't happen because men, we're different, and we're different in terms of like we can have female friends. The Bible says iron sharpens iron. So the only friendship you can get is like, I believe for me, it's like only the high and by, sister, brother kind of stuff. Limit. Yeah, and limit the friendship to that, but we can't get deeper. Like she's my best friend or we're best friends. We can't connect to that point because I'm talking on a standpoint of experience. And I had it this year with a girl. It's like I just went out with my friend, and it ended up, we weren't friends anymore. Like we wanted to date, and then we just found out, okay, we ain't meant for each other. So like I cut it off, but it always ends up into a relationship. That's what I gotta say. Personally.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, man. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Duncan.
Oh, Duncan, nice to meet you, man. Thank you for hopping on. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support. And we saw you said you stayed up till 2 a.m.
Yeah, here in Paris it's 2 a.m.
Man, we appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Yeah, man, he has a good point. We're different, man. We're just different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that, and I think we are. But I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, I don't think necessarily you can have a best friend if you're married, right? Like my best friend is my wife, right? In terms of like a female best friend, right? And I don't think you need another woman to be a best friend to where like you're telling her things that you haven't told or you don't tell your wife, right? Kind of like in Brown Sugar. I don't know if anybody else saw that, right? So I mean, I just think you gotta like there has to be certain boundaries. I think you can have friends, but I think there has to be certain boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I think kind of what he was pointing out is similar to what I was saying is, I guess theoretically it could happen, but it doesn't happen enough in reality. When you actually put it in reality, it doesn't really happen that often. So
Yeah, that's
it
fair.
can happen, but I just see it as, it could be an area for temptation. But like you said, you got to know your limits.
Right.
So the last topic we wanted to touch on before we just answer some of your questions, I see we've got a question in here right now, and then some questions that we had sent in to us throughout the week. Under what circumstances is divorce okay? And some people may say it's plain, it's black and white in the Bible. Some people may say it's gray, but we want to know your thoughts. So I'm going to go ahead and type this out, pin it in the comments.
Which is makes you love.
On the topic,
Yeah,
Zach, read the question. Oh, he's about to pin it.
yeah. It was like, what do you think under what circumstances do you think divorce is okay?
Biblically.
Biblically speaking, when someone cheats on you, or isn't it like when that person's an unbeliever and they want to divorce you?
Maybe you should be reading your Bible a little more.
I think those are the only two.
No, I think there's only one: adultery.
So okay, so would you leave your wife if she committed adultery, Chris?
So okay, so we talked about this, right? My whole thing is, and knock on wood, I hope I don't ever have to experience this, but my goal is to love my wife how Jesus loves me, right? So that means no matter how much I sin against Jesus, right, he still loves me with open arms and everything like that, right? So I don't want my love for my wife to be performance based. So I'm not saying I would be happy by any means. I'm not saying there wouldn't be repercussions and it wouldn't be a long road back. But I don't necessarily. I think I can love my wife through that, through the spirit, of course, not through my flesh. Yeah. I think I can love my wife through that, right? Yeah, but I do think biblically, I don't know. I don't think this is biblical, right? Why you can get a divorce, but I believe, and this is my own personal opinion. Like if somebody is beating or their life is in danger or their children are in danger, like I understand that. Like, you know what I mean? Not to say that that's necessarily biblical, but I get that. If a man is beating you or whatever and your life's in danger or he's beating your kids and stuff like that.
But is that a biblical reason?
That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily know or think it is, but I do understand that. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I commend your response. I think that's pretty noble of you to be able to say you can stay.
You like the hell.
For me personally, I'm out of there. If I get cheated on, I gotta go. Because what happens is you get like the mental like hurdles that you have to go through, right? And I think like for me, that would just be too much for me. So I would have to probably move on. But then again, I've never been married, so I don't know, like, if I have kids, that might change things. How long we've been married, that might change things. So, I mean, you never know. But for me now, today, my answer, I got to move on.
I mean, but
So here's the question, though. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what culture finds acceptable or what we think makes sense. At the end of the day, if the Bible is the thing that's guiding our decisions in our life, regardless of whether I agree with it or not, and we're trying to be molded to be more like Christ. We're not trying to have the best life we can have, the most comfortable life we can have. So to Chris's point, when Jesus addresses the topic of divorce, he talks about how, yeah, Moses gave the Pharisees and the people were saying, hey, so Moses gave us a document of divorce. Can we use this? What's up with this? And Jesus was like, in Matthew 5:32, he said, whoever divorces his wife except for the reason of unchastity makes her commit adultery. And so, but he also goes on to say in another section that divorce was only given as an option because of your stubbornness, the stubbornness of your own hearts. Because if we're really supposed to be, loving our wives like Christ loved the church, if we're taking that literal, because
that means there's nothing.
Because we take the submission part literal,
right?
You know, she's got to submit. We take that literal. That means we also got to take the other part literal too. So if she does that, then yes, there is. Jesus does say it's okay under these circumstances, but if the goal is to love her like God loves us,
right?
We cheat on God almost every day.
True. And
I'm not saying it's easy, right? But like, so for me, it's weird because I kind of have this in my vows and stuff like that. It's just like I'm gonna pre-approve my wife for forgiveness, right? So there's nothing she can do that's gonna stop me from loving her, if that is the goal. Like you said, to love her like Christ loves us.
Right.
There's nothing she can do, right? And if I'm loving her like that and she's loving me like that too, then I feel like you'll never have those type of issues, right?
Right.
Even because we are human and even we fall short. But if I'm loving her how Christ loves me and she's loving me how Christ loves her, right? I don't think we have those issues. But my love is not predicated on how she loves me. It's based on the fact that, hey, this is how God told me to love her, period.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And that means there's nothing she can do. Yeah, exactly. They say unconditional love. That's what unconditional love really is. It don't matter what you do. I'm loving you, period. Now, I'm not saying there might not be distance. I'm not saying there might be a long road back. I'm not saying I might need to see a lot of actions that's put, in place for us to get back to where we were, right? I'm not going to say, oh, I forget about it, forgive it, and it's all fine and dandy. No, like it's going to be a process. But I still believe, like, when I say I love this woman, when I make that vow, when I make that commitment, I love this woman unconditionally.
Right.
Man, that means I'm dying about her. Period.
And
the Will Smith and Jada type of love.
At the end of the day, we're like, I think that Jesus kind of shows us that it's our job to allow God to make us more like him. And I think sometimes in this American culture and just in our world in general, we get caught up in thinking like the Bible is kind of a guideline to live a quality life. When it's like, no, that it does that, of course. But it is supposed to guide you to be more like how God is, how Jesus is, how he is himself, and how some of those things that he is, I believe it's going to call for things like that. So does that mean he may give some people an out to say, okay, well, you can do this, and that's, I'll give you the out. Some people, if you really want to take it to the next level, you'll be able to push past it. And I've seen people push past it before.
Oh yeah, it can happen.
Like a lot of people saying in the comments, like Will and Jada. To be honest, and I don't know all the ins and outs.
Because I said that.
But to be honest, but the way, and this is only from outside looking in, but the way Will is loving this woman, despite everything she's doing, I think that's a practical example of like what a certain type of like unconditional love is. Right. Because any other man would have been like, nah, you making me look stupid, I'm out. Like it's a wrap. But
it's more self-preservation.
Yeah, right. He's like, it don't matter what she does, no matter how many stupid things she does, it don't matter what she does, I'm not going nowhere.
So we got a request. We got to join the request real quick.
That is not love.
Someone said they're both sleeping around though.
Hey, like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm just saying.
I didn't think y'all was gonna add me on. This is a blessing. This is a blessing.
Yes, girl.
I'm supposed to be studying right now. I I definitely want to thank you for having me on this. Let me pause my stuff. But I really, this is speaking to my soul. This is really like what we need as women to hear saved men talk about dating. Because honestly, I gave up hope. I'm saved and I'm celibate and I'm trying to live right. And my views are just like the young man in the black shirt that just left the chair. If my job is to love my husband how God said I'm supposed to love my husband, and I'm going to do my job. So I would look for a husband that would love me like Christ loved the church, or how God said you should love your wife, and you do your job. Yes, it's going to be hiccups, and I would hope that you would forgive me, and I would hope that I forgive you. But just like the prophet who was told to be with his wife, and his wife was a harlot.
Right.
So God, like he was saying, God puts you in situations where it's not going to be ideal, where you were saying that. I don't know any of your names. You just came up, so I know this was God saying. Like you were saying, God put you in situations where it's not going to be ideal like the world. So y'all speaking to me right
Wait,
now.
hold on. I got a question. What's your name again?
My name is Mikkel.
Mikkel. So if you get cheated on, you leaving or you staying?
If I'm married, I made that vow with God and my husband. So to get through that, okay, so I'm gonna give you a little backstory. I am a single mother, so I haven't been saved all my life.
Right.
After I had my child, I proclaimed to be saved, and I started living my life as a saved woman. But if I made this vow with my husband and God, even if he cheated, he's a human. Just like he's saying, God will chase you. We cheat on God every day. God will leave the 99 to go follow this one. So when God's preparing you for marriage, and I think that's where he has me at in this single time, when he's preparing me for marriage, he's telling me, okay, if I give you your husband, you can't just be so easily to give up on him.
Right.
But yeah, because
From it's like, oh, if he ain't doing right, I ain't trying to deal with him. I don't want him no more.
Right, like think of how conditional that is, right? Now, I'm not saying that's not a egregious offense, like it is, but like think of how conditional that is. Oh, well, I'm gonna stay as long as you're performing this way, or as long as you're doing everything right, or as long as you're making me happy, or fully devoted. You know what I mean? And it's like you can't go into a marriage. Exactly, you said this before. You cannot go into a marriage with the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna treat you predicated on how you kind of treat me 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just not wise.
And then to piggyback off of that, when you say how you treat me, that sounds like idolization. So you have to treat me a certain way for us to stay. I have to be your God. You have to serve me. It's gonna be times where I'm not able to communicate with you because you're going through some things. And I need to pray to understand God's child, because that's my husband, but that's still God's child. And he understands them the best. So yeah, you might go out and cheat, but what was the reason that pushed you to cheat?
Right. But still, God does give us the option to leave if we get cheated on. So I don't know, you guys are kind of making it seem like, well, you're like a better type of Christian if you stay. No, he said I can leave. You know what I mean?
I don't think you're necessarily the better type of Christian, but I mean, like, man, you gotta ask yourself, like, I mean, are you like Zach said, what's the goal? Right? Is the goal to be more like Christ, or to just be in a happy marriage?
That's true.
Well, thanks for hopping on and sharing your opinion, and hopefully you can follow us. And
I do follow like one of you all. That's how it seems.
Which one?
I think me. I don't even know his name. It's like him and yeah, I think
Chris.
Christ is King.
Oh, well, go ahead.
What is your name? Introduce yourself so we.
My name is Chris.
Okay.
What?
I'm C-Love.
C-Love. And
Zach.
What's your name?
Zach.
Okay.
Kaz TV. We all have skits and things like that we put on here, and we go live every week. We talk about Christian dating every Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting on.
All right, thank you for coming on.
Okay.
We got 15 minutes left.
Yep, 15 minutes.
So what are we talking about?
Man, you guys are super Christians, because I guess I'm just not that good of a Christian yet.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe
Maybe
not,
overall
'cause I can't
focus.
do it.
So go ahead, everybody. Ask the questions that you want us to talk about. We've got some questions that we're going to try to address from earlier this week. So the first one in the comments. Okay, let's see. We'll just go ahead and get this one out of the way.
He said super Christian.
Super Christian.
So one of the
I'll get
questions
on.
about the friends of the opposite gender was one of Jesus's closest friends not female? Mary, come on. When did she go with him on his trips? There we go. I'm not saying they weren't close, but I think the world kind of exaggerates that relationship just a little bit. So whenever he would go to these other places, that's what I mean by his trips. When he'd go to these other areas, she was never with him, from my understanding, unless you can show me elsewhere, which I'm happy to learn. Okay. Let's see. The next one. Do you think there are differences for men and women as to what counts as cheating?
Yes. I don't know if that should be the case, but in the reality it is, yeah. I think most men look at the intention, right? Like, oh, it wasn't my intention to kind of sleep with her or anything like that. I was just harmlessly flirting, right? That's not cheating, right? And I think women, they look deeper into it, right?
I think it's an emotional versus like a physical thing when it comes to men and women.
And that's a good question too.
Because
what's worse,
I know
emotional cheating or physical cheating?
Because most men, if you have sex, that's it. That's it. Now, if y'all went out to dinner and stuff, and like, you know, and you were like, oh, I liked him, but as long as you didn't have sex with him, a man might stay.
Right. Yeah.
A man might stay.
Yeah.
You penetrate and have sex with that guy.
So, okay.
Oh no.
But to be honest, I think it's the opposite.
Hold on really quick. As an experiment, everybody, if you think physical cheating is worse than emotional cheating, press 1. If you think emotional cheating is worse, press 2. Watch how it falls.
Yeah, I think most women are going to say physical, and I think for guys, most guys are going to say emotional is no, opposite. I think guys are going to say physical cheating is worse, and I think girls are going to say emotional cheating is worse.
Well, we're already seeing two.
Right.
Emotional. So a lot of men would rather you cheat emotionally than physically.
Which doesn't make sense.
That's just something for the women that don't know this. A guy would rather you cheat emotionally than physically.
I would.
So when you say, "Oh, well, I didn't have any feelings for him or anything like that," it doesn't matter. You may be okay with that, but he's not going to be okay with that. And I don't want to get too far off topic. But,
but I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Because, like, especially if it's my wife, man, that means that guy got my wife's heart. That's more than just like sex. I don't know.
True, but let's say she liked him, but she never did anything with him.
That's worse. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't sound like it's to me.
No, because think about it. Because now he's in her head, right? So yeah, you might be laying with me.
I'd rather be in her head than in her body.
I would too.
So
I don't know.
So
I don't know. So when y'all having sex, she thinking about another dude?
No, because once I know somebody else been in there, I can't.
All right. So
somebody else. You ain't gonna marry a virgin.
Hey, so we got another question. We only got an hour. We don't have 3 hours like last time. We only got an hour. Christina said spiritual repercussions of cheating. Tying to another person.
Tying?
Yeah, I think that's
spiritual repercussions.
I think she's talking about like soul ties and things like that. And then there's one more topic I definitely want to address that we were asked throughout the week. But what's your thoughts on that? Like the spiritual bonding, if someone cheated and now they're bonded with that other person spiritually.
Repeat the question.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, with the exception of like, we're adding to the fact of like, oh, your trust is broken, you kind of got to work through that. To be honest, most of us in relationships, we're gonna have to work through that because like the vast majority of us is not both virgins getting married, right? So you're gonna have spiritual ties, chances are, with other people. So you're
Okay.
gonna have to like work through that, right?
So we got two people who want to hop on real quick. I'm gonna give them both 2 minutes each. So we're
all
gonna
right,
go
let's
in
get
the
it.
order that it came
That was
in.
too heavy.
We're gonna go the order that it
I'm
came in.
showing too heavy. Okay.
What's up?
Yo, sorry, I'm back again.
No,
But
you're good.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, okay, cool.
I was like, he looked just like the other dude that was just on
Yeah.
here.
All
yeah,
right, so
I'm back again.
you got 2 minutes.
All right. I believe what you're saying, about the repercussions of cheating. I believe about we got spiritual soul ties. Like when you guys have sex, I mean, it's more like an exchange of if both of you ain't saved, it's more like an exchange of demons. Like you take her demons and she gives you hers. And I've seen this firsthand. Like the other person takes on the other person's personality, and the other one also, the opposite takes on the other person's personality. So like that the two of them are in conflict, and the only way to serve them is by repenting. That's all I gotta say.
No, that makes sense.
That makes
I feel you.
sense.
Repent.
Thanks for hopping on, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, man. You have a good night, bro.
He's sharing some good stuff. We got someone else wants to hop on. Not sure which topic they want to.
Why are these ladies not hopping on? They active in the comment section.
Here we go. I think I pressed accept. All right, I pressed accept. Thank you.
Yo, what does that look like too? Like practically, what does that look like to deal with soul ties of like your partner?
I think it comes with emotional, all these other things, comparison. When it comes to like
Not camera ready.
personality, all these other things. I do think it does have an impact. I'm trying to accept. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a request. If you take your says she's unable to join. Let's see. I'm gonna give it one last try.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I'm not dealing with somebody else's baggage. Everybody's gonna have baggage to a certain extent, right? You just gotta kind of be understanding, willing to work through that.
Right. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey.
I don't know if it's working.
It's
Yeah.
working. We hear you.
You're on.
Okay, I'll be real quick. So I just wanted to touch on the fact that the guy down here over to the left, you were saying that you thought that emotional cheating was worse. Am I coming?
What? You must be talking about me.
Emotional cheating.
Okay. Yeah. So you were saying that emotional cheating was worse, but earlier.
Is it frozen for you guys too?
Yeah.
Hey, walk outside or maybe.
She's like she's finna come with some heat for you, Chris. I don't know.
Got to see.
Might be a good thing. It's freezing up.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't never back down from the challenge.
Hey.
I'll give her like 10 more seconds. If it's still frozen, we're gonna have to just move on. Okay.
I wanted to hear a question too.
Well, just tell her the type
like she
of
was
question.
ready.
Tell her the type of question.
There we go. I just sent her the request so she can hop back on.
Bring her back on. She's finna give an intelligent response. I can tell.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
All right. What's
Okay,
the
can you
question?
hear me?
Yeah.
This is the same person?
Okay, you may not be able to see me, but I'm outside. It's raining. It's like raining.
All
Anyways,
good.
I was just gonna say that. Okay, So you had said that emotional cheating you felt like was worse, but yet you were just saying earlier that it was, you felt that it was okay to have relationships or to have friendships with women when you were in a relationship. So like those things don't match up. Like if you were saying that emotional cheating is worse, but you're allowing those friendships, like ultimately that's giving the foothold for that to happen.
How?
Does that
I
make
mean,
sense?
if so you're telling me I can't have like a friendship, like, and I'm not talking about best friends, just have a friendship with the woman and not even to let my emotions to get to the point where I'm looking at her romantically? I have friends right now
No,
that are
I'm
women
just,
that I don't look at in a romantic aspect.
but that doesn't mean that they don't look at you like that.
Well, all I can control is me. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
no, I understand, but like if you're saying though that emotionally, like you think that it's worse, like why would you want to even entertain women as friendships where that foothold could come, like where that like could open the door to that? If you
Right.
think that in your mind, like the emotional cheating is worse, why would you even want to give that opportunity?
No,
So
I wouldn't.
it seems like what you're saying is, let me just, is this what you're saying? Like, if you think
Sorry, I keep
emotional
cutting
cheating
you
is
out.
worse, why would
Yeah.
you even open the door for that by having friendships?
Yes, yes. Like once you're in a relationship, like why would you even want to open that door? Like if you in your mind you think that emotional cheating is wrong, why would you even want that opportunity to come up? Like if you respect the woman that you're with, you know, married or dating, like why would you want that door to even be open? Like that's how Satan works. Like it's a slow fade. Like you allow, you know, small things to happen. Oh, it's just a friendship. We just, you know, she's got my back. She's encouraging, da 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 da. But like you don't need any other woman in your life to be doing that. Like your girl, your wife, that's like she's your hype woman, you know, like she's your hype man. She's the one who's like, you know what I mean? And it's different if you like have a married couple that like you talk to them together and like the wife gives you insight. But like for you to just have like, oh, she's single, like she's my friend, like I completely think that's just opening the door to have
Okay.
emotional cheating
So
So,
possibility.
so we only have like 4 minutes left,
Sorry.
but no, you're good. That was good. Chris, go ahead and you can stay on. Go ahead and respond.
okay, so like all I'm gonna say is like, so for me, right? I think it's one. I'm saying like a friendship, right? So just like an honest friendship. That doesn't mean we're gonna be talking late tonight. That doesn't mean we're gonna be hanging out one on one. So first of all, any woman that any person that I have that's a friend, she's gonna be my wife's friend as well, right? It's not gonna be like, oh, she's my single friend and it's just one on one. No, like all three of us are gonna be best friends, right? Two, I'm not gonna be having conversations about my wife or conversations that I wouldn't have with my wife with that friend. I think it's just gonna be, hey, like we cool, we friends, and that's what it is. I'm not saying it's gonna get like super deep of, oh, she's like pouring into me spiritually and mentally and emotionally.
But
No, no. There's definitely gonna be
point,
boundaries with me and
what's
all
the
my
point?
friends.
Then what's the point of having that friendship? If it's not going to be any of those things, like friendships are to like build you up, to encourage you, to like, you know what I mean? Like brothers and sisters in Christ. So like, what's the point of even having that in your life if it's not going to be any of those things?
Well, then let me cut out every woman that I ever met and that I'm ever cool with. Like that just don't make sense. I don't think that's
Why? Are you dating right now though? Are you in a
yeah.
relationship?
No, not in a relationship.
Okay, well then that's my point. I'm saying when you are in a committed relationship or married, like there is no need for that in your life. Especially if you are saying that emotional cheating is worse than physical. Like you are literally opening the door to that.
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
I,
I,
so
I
we
see
don't.
what you're saying that like the crack could be open, with that, but I think it's still a way to kind of have like boundaries set to where it doesn't like have a crack open,
So
right?
I think
What's the
so.
point of that relationship if
So
you
here,
just said that
so
they're not going to be edifying you, they're not going to be encouraging you, you're not going to them like
so
for like what's the point of it?
here's the thing. Here's what he's saying.
Okay.
Even though he's using the word friend,
Translate.
no, you're good. We only have 2 more minutes. But
Okay, sorry.
even though he's using the word friendship, he's not
Mm-hmm.
talking about like a Jonathan David friendship. He's not talking about like, he's talking about, oh, maybe someone that follows me on Instagram and I follow them too, or maybe someone that is at church, you know, in our group or something like that. Not somebody that's like, oh, I'm hanging out with them one-on-one and things like that. So not really a friend, but more of like not an acquaintance, like you don't even know their last name. But I think that the thing that's getting confused here is just the term of friend and one definition of friend versus another. But
I get that. Yeah.
It's going to kick us off here in a minute.
Okay.
But I just want to go ahead and
Sorry
thank
to take
you.
up some time.
Yeah, thank you for hopping on.
Call in anytime.
Everybody. Yeah.
You don't really mean it.
She loves enjoying that.
No, it's just, I mean, it's good to have people, you know.
So everybody, we come on here every Wednesday. Make sure to go ahead and follow. We come here every Wednesday. We talk about Christian dating. That's the topic. And we share these lives on the YouTube channel that we just started. The link is in the description and in the bio. And we look forward to having these conversations. And throughout the week, send us a message and we'll talk about the topics that you want to talk about. And next week, maybe we'll go for 2 hours. So we'll have more time.
So just
we might have to
somebody
keep it going.
And somebody just asked, like, where do they send in the questions or how they send it in? Just DM Kaz, the profile that is going live on, and we'll make a note of it.
Definitely.